Anthony, Fox News. That's what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. plans to tell senators in 2 hours in the first of 2 days of confirmation hearings for the controversial Trump nominee to lead Health and Human Services.
There's already dozens of people lining up, supporters of RFK Jr. outside this hearing room where he will face the Senate Finance Committee.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson reads more of what will be Kennedy's opening statement.
News reports have claimed that I am anti-vaccine or anti-industry. Well, I am neither. I am pro-safety. I worked for years to raise awareness about the mercury and toxic chemicals in fish. That didn't make me anti-fish. All of my kids are vaccinated, and I believe vaccines have a critical role in healthcare.
Well, a lot of Democrats oppose Kennedy, like Senator Brian Schatz.
He wants to use Americans as lab rats in a national experiment.
RFK Jr.'s cousin, Caroline Kennedy, warns senators in a letter he's a predator, and his comments skeptical of a vaccine should be disqualifying. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff singled out at the Pentagon.
General Mark Milley. He had his security detail taken away last night, and he could lose a star in retirement if it is determined that he was undermining the chain of command during the first Trump administration.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. President Biden gave General Milley a preemptive pardon. President Trump's offering buyouts to federal workers as he orders them back to offices. Resign by next Thursday, and they'll be paid through September.
The White House sent the offer out to roughly 2 million government employees, and the administration expects 5 to 10% of them to quit, which officials say could save taxpayers up to $100 billion per year.
Fox's Brooks Singman. A White House plan to freeze federal spending and grants and review it all has been blocked by a federal judge. Democrats say it cuts off important funding for a lot of programs. Senator Amy Klobuchar tells Fox.
It's chaos, and it is unnecessary.
Another Trump executive order expected today would prohibit federal funding from schools that teach critical race theory or radical gender ideology. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
It's time now to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract, throw it overboard with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. You can choose a free iPhone 14 or free Samsung Galaxy. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. Also, they use the same 5G network. So get your free iPhone 14 or your Samsung Galaxy. You simply dial pound 250. You say the keyword save now from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
That Trump executive order expected today targeting schools that teach critical race theory or gender ideology comes after we got a new report card for school children, the National Assessment of Educational Progress. After testing 4th and 8th graders in math and reading last year, it shows 4th grade student scores rose slightly from 2022 in math, but are still below pre-pandemic levels. A third of the kids in grade 8 scored below what's considered a basic level of reading. That's more than ever. Now, kids are not in school in one state where they're celebrating a Happy New Year.
It's a new school holiday for students in New York State, the first time they've been closed in observance of Lunar New Year. Lunar New Year celebrates the beginning of spring and the new year on the lunisolar calendar. Today begins the year of the snake. New York Governor Kathy Hochul signed legislation in 2023 making Asian Lunar New Year an official holiday for public schools statewide.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. We have an update on what became a big story for weeks at the end of last year. All the drones spotted in the sky in several states, especially New Jersey, leading to worry about national security.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt opened the press briefing with an update she says that was directly from President Trump about drone sightings in November and December.
The drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons.
Leavitt says other aircraft were hobbyists and amateurs.
In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
A Biden administration review in December assessed the drones were a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and mistaken manned aircraft. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures down a bit for the Dow, up for the NASDAQ the day after the NASDAQ had a big rebound from the even bigger tech stock sell-off on Monday. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Closing arguments could finally come to an end of the Michael Madigan landmark corruption trial. During his closing argument Monday, an attorney for the former Illinois House Speaker painted former Chicago alderman turned government mole Danny Solis as the villain, calling him a stage actor. 55 people evacuated from an apartment building in Urbana, which caught fire Monday in the 1200 block of East Harding Drive. Had they smoke coming from the 5th floor of the 6-story building. When crews arrived, they located and extinguished the fire on the 1st floor of the trash container, which extended up the trash chute to the 2nd floor. This year's tax season underway. Illinois Department of Revenue began accepting 2024 state tax returns Monday. Same day, the IRS began to accept federal individual income tax returns. Illinois participating in the IRS Direct File program this year. Eligible taxpayers able to use the program to electronically complete their 2024 federal tax returns for free. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Hey, good morning, 7:06. I am Stevie J. Diane Ducey is away for the rest of the week, so I've got the calm solos.
Yeah.
Solier.
Well, so running solo, Solier, right?
Yeah, that's solo Solier. So the drone story, Caroline.
Oh, by the way, hit the aux button when you can, okay?
Got you covered.
Pardon me if I borrow the radio station.
No. What happens, folks, when he says that is it echoes back and repeats, and I don't know how you ever do anything when you hear that. Anyway,
bad enough I got to hear myself once.
Well,
that's what Mrs. Weather Forecaster says.
Good focus, sir. Good focus. All right,
you.
so Caroline Leavitt, the new White House spokesperson, came out and told us the story about the drones over New Jersey.
Okay, yeah, I've been reading about that.
Yeah, FAA approved, then some hobbyists. Why couldn't Joe Biden have said that?
I know, that sounded pretty straightforward. You know?
It's FAA approved, and some hobbyists, kind of a combo, will tell us because people were freaking out, bringing their rifles in their backyard.
Yeah, I saw the extreme end of that.
Just say that, and everybody kind of shrugged and said, okay. They're not attacking me. They're not from China. Yeah. It was just another one of those wowsies moment. Well, I tell you, I woke up. I got 41 in the car temperature, so nice.
Well, that's where we're sitting in the garage. That's a little warm.
Maybe it was 41 in the garage. What's the temperature out there?
That's the right idea for later today, though.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, all right. Well, it's warmer and it's lighter, and yay!
Oh, yes, I see old sun out the Eastern Weather Office window this morning, sir.
Yes, sir. It's our weather with our meteorologist Greg Solier, brought to you by the Urbana Park District. Their Best in Show photo competition entries are taken in January. Your photo may be on display at Lincoln Square Mall in February. Find out details, urbanaparks.org. Okay, what's the picture showing for weather around here, sir?
Well, very delightful. Yeah, even if you're looking at the car thermometer reading this morning, 30 at Willard and Savoy, 31 at Rantoul, 35 at Danville, 31 at Bloomington Normal. Those readings are kind of what you expect in a late January afternoon around here. So, yeah, we're insured of another day's worth of delightful weather today. Things get a little more complicated tomorrow from a wet weather standpoint. Pretty dynamic system is going to bring severe weather down through parts of Texas. Heavy rainfall in that particular part of the country, of course, coming off snow melt. And with our recent snow melt, lots of frost in the ground and ice and all that beginning to break up in area streams and rivers. If we put a half to an inch worth of rain on top of that, things might get a little murky out there. So keep an eye with moving around in some of the low drainage areas. And that's the start of a pretty busy weather pattern getting going here as we move on through the month of February. Arctic air on the move to the north and northwest. Springtime to the south and southeast already. So that strengthens the jet. And again, pick your poison from a precip standpoint late next week and beyond. No rain today. Sun-filled, breezy, mild, 45. That's about 12 above average with a stiff northwest wind. Not quite the gustiness of the past couple of days, but you'll notice it. 27 on the low tonight. Sunshine tomorrow morning. Clouds increase after that. Rain breaks out in spots tomorrow afternoon. Highs up to 46 and some rainy spells tomorrow night through Friday. Temperatures the 40s. It'll turn a little bit cooler late in the day on Friday. Up north of the Kankakee, a little mixed snow before things shut down. Nice weather for the weekend. 42 Saturday, 54 Sunday, 40s on Monday. We start the cooling trend back in the 30s for next Tuesday and Wednesday. More winter type precip later next week as well. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Let's go across the pond, my friends. Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio, has joined us all about artificial intelligence and what China has done with something called DeepSeek. Jonathan Savage, explain the world to me. Where are we with AI and what China does? Why does it matter?
Yeah, we are in the midst of a battle between two global superpowers, the US and China, a battle for the future of technology, and it matters because countries and companies around the world are looking to artificial intelligence to provide productivity and growth. Everyone wants a piece of the next big thing. DeepSeek this week has been such a big tech earthquake because it's doing something much, much cheaper than American companies have been able to do it. It's an artificial intelligence chatbot. You can access it with a free smartphone app, and it's become the most downloaded app in the US for iPhones. Researchers claim it costs just $6 million to train. That's a fraction of what its main American rival, OpenAI, is using to train its latest version of ChatGPT.
Okay, so it rocked the markets, but how do I believe them if they say $6 million? Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of industry experts who are skeptical about $6 million. And it's also important to say the $6 million is just part of the story. The training it is just part of the story of developing a chatbot. There's all sorts of other development costs which would have gone into it. But it is enough that it has really spooked the market. $500 billion wiped off the value of NVIDIA, the American company which provides computer chips for tech companies in the U.S. It's come back a bit, but on the surface, it would suggest that the AI business model needs to be rethought.
Okay, well, one of the criticisms that we have guardrails on our artificial intelligence, China does not. Does that mean the guardrails need to come down?
Yeah, good question. I think President Trump described it as a wake-up call, didn't he, for the U.S. tech industry? He said that perhaps the fact that this is cheaper means that it could be a positive sign. Perhaps there will be calls for the guardrails to be removed, for deregulation to be removed. But I think it's also important to talk about some of the limitations of a Chinese chatbot and Chinese AI in general. At Fox, we asked DeepSeek about the 1989 Tiananmen Square protest that ended up with that violent crackdown by the Chinese military. The chatbot said, "Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else."
Well, let's go ahead and edit things, huh? Edit history. All right, so finally, Jonathan Savage, Fox News Radio, live from London, England. Is this going to be like TikTok? If I download this thing, are they monitoring my life?
That's a concern, isn't it? That's something which people are going to be wondering. It's not owned, of course, by the Chinese government, DeepSeek, but the Chinese government has the kind of powers that other governments simply don't have. The NSA is, as we understand it, looking into what this could mean. They're considering the national security implications. And according to CNBC, the U.S. Navy has already sent an email to its staff warning them for the time being not to use the DeepSeek app. These are early days, but there are concerns.
Man, I'm telling you, we're just all going to go to iRobot and Will Smith, and everything's going to be controlled. I don't know what this all big picture is because, you know, there's a lot of speculation, but it's going to change the way we do things over the next decade, I think, Jonathan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's what all the countries and companies in the world and governments are thinking. You know, like I say, this is seen as the future of technology. And for a lot of countries, especially here in Europe, where economic growth is really stagnant, they're looking for something to boost it, something to kickstart the economies as we go through the 21st century.
Hey, listen, good work. Thanks for the time, Jonathan. Keep up your fine work at Fox News Radio, sir.
My pleasure. Have a good
day. You too. Jonathan Savage live from London. All right, sports headlines. Illinois leaves today. You have to leave a day before Big Ten basketball games because, you know, weather and stuff, even though the weather's nice around here right now. So team leaves today. They'll play Nebraska tomorrow night at 7:30. Nebraska Cornhuskers, you know, it's a game you're thinking maybe ought to win, but we don't know anything about Thomas Isevich. Is he going to get back anytime soon? We don't know. I think Brad meets the media later today, and we might hear a little bit more. But, yeah, and when he comes back, I mean, he's 21 in the best shape of his life, but he got mononucleosis, and we know if you've had it before or you know people that have it, can drag and keep you down a little bit. And then what do you like cardiovascular like and breathing, you know, up and down the court? Anyway, he's a key part. Nebraska doesn't have any huge big men. I don't think Sunday against Ohio State they have any major big men. Maryland, now they got a couple of men inside. That's the team that beat us handily without Thomas Isevich. But we came back and played a really good basketball game against Northwestern, as you know, on Sunday. So it'll be at Nebraska tomorrow night, 7:30. Go Illini. Then we host Ohio State. You know what? Here's a factoid you did not know. When was the last time CBS brought their cameras to Champaign-Urbana? Now, we played on CBS just, a week ago at Michigan State. But the last time CBS brought their cameras to the State Farm Center, 2011? Is that right? 2011? Where you been? We had Kofi and Io and all that other stuff. Where you been? We won some Big Ten championships. But bringing the cameras to Champaign, 2011. Anyway, we'll play Sunday noon against Ohio State at State Farm Center. Looking at the schedule, I got 5 home games left. Ohio State, UCLA, Michigan State, Iowa, and Purdue. Man, that's it. And then we're into March, man. It's February, Saturday, my friends. February. Okay, so there's that's pretty much it. Super Bowl is set. Last night, The Voice had Mike Palm from Circus Sports. They're a big advertiser, big sponsor for us. And they have something called Circus Squares. You know, the board where you buy a square and you get crummy numbers. And then each quarter, if you have 0 and 0 and the first quarter is 0-0, then you win money. And they divvy it up, and it's 4 quarters of action. Well, what Circus Squares did at Circus Sports is they gave you odds. You can pick whatever numbers you want. So I'm thinking, how does 2 and 2 sound? It's $5,000 to 1 that the first quarter will end 12-12. Highly unlikely. How you getting there? I mean, you have to miss some extra points or get 2 safeties and be 2-2. Anyway, if you put $10 on 5,000, you get $50,000. But it's kind of like throwing $10 away because it's not going to happen. It just score didn't get there. 5s are really bad in these squares, but generally you buy a square and you get bad numbers because the only good numbers are like 7 and 3 and 17. But somebody misses an extra point, and the Philadelphia Kickers had that problem. It could really throw it in a tizzy. And it was interesting to hear the Circa guy on last night with Derek and Kyle. Okay, it is time for some more weather with meteorologist Greg Solier, and we're going to just enjoy every single day. This is January 29, bottom of the hour, 10 minutes away. Brother Johnny and, I don't know, Ed Martin has taken a pretty big position in the Trump administration. Our Wednesday guest, Ed Martin, formerly with Phyllis Schlafly's group, is now the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., which is an extremely big job. Ed thinks he can be on today, but I think his life has changed dramatically over the last couple of weeks. We've been getting some details. So we'll give a shot to Ed Martin, Brother Johnny. Brother Johnny for sure, maybe Ed Martin as well. Our weather this morning on ESPN 93.5 with our learned one. He is called meteorologist Greg Solier. Being brought to you by Busey for over 150 years. Busey, member FDIC. Fox Business coming up next as well. I'm Stevie J. Diana's off today. It is 7:18.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois. Champaign-Urbana is Saturday. Nice couple of 2 or 3 days still ahead with regard to temperatures for late January, beginning part of February. And of all things, a significant rain system coming up our way for the end part of the week, beginning tomorrow afternoon. Keep an eye on streams and rivers at a half to an inch worth of rain expected, and they are certainly iced over. They'll be breaking up and are doing just that in the mild air. And so some lowland ag areas may be subject to some ponding and local flooding, and we are into a dynamic weather pattern the second half of next week and going forward from a winter weather standpoint. Sunny, breezy, mild for the day today, up around 45. Mostly clear, colder tonight, diminishing wind down to 27. Tomorrow, sun in the morning, increasing clouds for the afternoon as rain breaks out, the high at 46. Rainy tomorrow night, low down to 42. And cloudy, turning cooler for the day on Friday. Rain in the morning, some drizzle in the afternoon. North of Champaign, there may be a little wet snow before ending in evening time. Morning high in the 40s and then falling temperatures. 42 and a partly cloudy, dry Saturday. 54 on Sunday, and a cool-off slated for next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Well, Carl knows when it comes to your health, they'll be there to help you through it. From convenient care to advanced diagnostics, count on Carl. Learn more at carl.org.
You've set your financial goals. One kid plans to go Big Ten, the other Ivy. Your bucket list includes seaside sunrises and sunsets on the slopes, or perhaps a second home away from it all. Busey Bank can help develop the right investment strategy to take charge of the years ahead. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth. since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Many more people are eating at Chili's. Its parent company, Brinker International, crushed forecast for its holiday quarter. Brinker also owns Maggiano's. Chili's sales at existing restaurants were up more than 31%. Maggiano's sales were up a more modest 1.8%. The company says it's been advertising and making improvements that brought guests back. Brinker's shares up 9%. T-Mobile's quarter also upbeat. Otis Worldwide also reported stronger earnings and revenue. Though the stock is lower, Otis makes elevators and escalators. Pork producer Smithfield Foods is trading again. The stock launched yesterday, though, left shares little changed at just under where it was priced at $20. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Coselda. Invested in you.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
What are the 2 active volcanoes on mainland Europe called?
Is Vesuvio one of them?
Vesuvius and Etna.
How'd you do exactly? These get tougher, so hang on.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Then come back here to see how you did. Thank you for taking the quiz.
The Nate Evans Group, eXp Realty. So you got an office right across from the fire station in downtown Muhammad.
Yep.
And that Nate Evans Group has some great energy when you walk in that building, because you guys are moving and shaking. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think that was the culture we were looking for. We wanted to be a younger demographic of vibrant agents and brokers. We wanted to make sure that we brought that energy on our listing consults and things like that. It's not fun to go to work in a stale environment, and we want to create the idea that we can still have fun, have a real edgy feel to our marketing with a still professional approach with something that's taken so serious.
239-7113 is the number for Nate Evans, or you can go online to nateevansgroup.com. I know that if I want to sell my home, Nate Evans is the man.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to the nateevansgroup.com.
The Urbana Park District Health and Wellness Center is open. Located at 2002 East Washington Street in Urbana next to the Brookins Center, the Health and Wellness Center has 2 full basketball gyms, pickleball courts, a walking track, weight and cardio rooms, a fitness classroom, and a meeting room. Buy an annual membership for unlimited access. For more information, call 217-255-8601 or visit urbanaparks.org.
All right, 723.
Park District, you belong here.
23 past. Good morning. I'm Stevie J. You know how Donald Trump wants to save money. Apparently an email went out to all federal workers last night saying if you quit, we'll pay you for 8 months. Would you take it? I think 5 to 10% will quit because they've been ordered back to the office, and that's freaking people out. How dare you make me go 5 days a week? We're not used to that. I mean, really, you have some flexibility, and if you're in a company that can allow that, fantastic. It's wonderful. But if you're a federal worker, they want you there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 5 days. And so there are people that are unhappy, and you can see a whole lot on social media, just major breakdowns. What am I going to do? I gotta drive. Anyway, 1% came back after COVID. 1%. So we got 9,000 empty buildings. 9,000 empty federal buildings. Sell them. Probably make pretty good coin on that. Anyway, so 5 to 10% are projected to actually quit their jobs to be paid for 8 months. And that would save the government $100 billion per year. Okay, that's a start. Now, there are things in your government that you pay for, that you have no idea you pay for it. And so we've seen the Office of Government Waste, or that's not related to the government. Somebody's been doing the government waste and the pork and all that other stuff that we've heard for years, decades. I've interviewed people for decades about that. But I haven't heard about the bubble wrap thing. Here's some examples.
All right, so number one, the National Bubble Wrap Stress Relief Study. We were wasting $1.4 million annually to study whether popping bubble wrap would actually reduce stress. It turns out that it does, but we don't need to spend any money on that. You can do that yourself. All right.
That's $1.4 million. Now, that's nothing. Drop in the bucket for $6 trillion. It's like not even a penny. It's just nothing. But $1.4 million, if I'll do a study on if bubble popping we all like doing that. It is a stress reliever. It's kind of fun. Pop, 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 pop. But just imagine you're working and you're getting $100,000 a year to work in the study for the bubble wrap relieving stress. You paid for that. So that was $1.4 million that we just saved.
Program number 2, the Bureau of Mailbox Feng Shui. I don't even know what the hell that is, but it was costing us $900,000 a year. All right, program number 3, that is going to be the Federal Balloon Animal Training Academy, costing us $2.3 million annually.
They actually have people that train you how to make little animals out of balloons. It's $2.3 million. Where do I apply?
And taxpayers have been funding how to teach clowns to fold balloons into animals for kids' birthday parties.
I self-taught myself that. When the kids were little, I could make little dogs and stuff. I couldn't make the fancy giraffe or anything like that, but I could do a dog. That's $2.3 million we just saved.
All right. Now, program number 4 is the National Pretzel Untwisting Initiative. It's $600,000 per year, dedicated to untwisting pretzels for research purposes. Doge is doing away with that. You're welcome.
Undoing a pretzel, $600,000. Okay.
We don't need that anymore. Program number 5, the Department of Sock Pairing. We're wasting $1.8 million annually to find those missing socks. Sorry, everybody, you're on your own. You're going to have to find your own socks.
I have no idea what that means. Finding missing socks, $1.8 million. Can you imagine bring your daddy to school day, bring your mommy to school day? What do? Well, I work in government. What do you do? Well, it's going to take me a while to explain, but we match socks. Because you know how they disappear? Like they're in the pant and you can't find them? So we are hard at work doing that because it's stressing you out when you lose a sock.
Without any government guidance. Number 6, the Federal High Five Coordination Bureau, $1.2 million a year, ensuring that we're high-fiving correctly.
I don't have any comment. I don't know what to say.
That's got to go. That's going to save us some cash. Let's see. Number 7, the National Ice Cream Cone Structural Integrity Lab. We have been spending $700,000 a year to find out why ice cream cones leak, and that is...
Well, it does suck when it leaks. There's no doubt.
That's just a huge waste of money. Program number 8, the Office of Puddle Depth Measurement. That was costing us $3 million a year to see how much rainwater was being wasted and collected in things like potholes and other puddles.
How do you even start that study? I go find a good pothole and measure how much rain overnight filled. That was 1.5 inches. The one on Springfield, okay?
So we're done with that one. And let's see, program number 9, the Bureau of Alarm Clock Testing, $1.5 million a year to ensure alarms are just annoying enough that you get out of bed so you're getting that correct, meh.
Okay, sir, we want you to participate in a study. You have to sleep on the couch here, and we want to see what you do when the alarm goes off in the morning. Will that wake you up? Okay, I got $1.4 million. It does.
Noise that just drives you crazy. We don't need that anymore. That's saving us, like I said, $1.5 million. And finally, number 10, that's the Federal Glitter Cleanup Task Force. And at $2 million annually, we've been funding the impossible because as we all know, at the end of the year when we take down the Christmas tree and all the decorations, there's just glitter everywhere.
So they're going to tell you how you vacuum it up better. So this is, I don't know what the total of all that was, 10 million? 15 million, but there's going to be people on the unemployment line losing work after working at the glitter study and the making sure you're high-fiving properly. You can't make it up. I don't know. I mean, there are people that write stuff in. These massive bills that are like the budget, but somebody in some district puts in about making sure you high-five properly because it'd be really embarrassing if you miss the high-five and stuff. It's amazing how much money is being spent on different studies. Now, if I was doing the study, believe me, I could justify it. If it's $1.4 million, oh yeah, it's really important. Making sure you can match socks. That's just some of the things that are going by the wayside. by our government. Okay. Brother Johnny is next. Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps even Ed Martin will explain his new role because we've got that officially. And CNN is all over him in not a good way. Anyway, it's coming up, 7:30.
Did you know that routine maintenance on your furnace helps improve air quality in your home? Along with making sure your furnace is operating at maximum efficiency, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing wants to make sure your home is as comfortable as possible. Voted People's Choice #1 HVAC and plumbing company for the third time in 4 years, let the expert team make sure you'll be warm all winter long. Call 217-841-4728 or visit dogtownheatingandair.com. Book your appointment today. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. President Trump's choice to be HHS Secretary faces his first confirmation hearing this morning. Fox's Lucas Thompson previews Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s opening statement.
News reports have claimed that I am anti-vaccine or anti-industry. Well, I am neither. I am pro-safety. I worked for years to raise awareness about the mercury and toxic chemicals in fish. That didn't make me anti-fish. All of my kids are vaccinated, and I believe vaccines have a critical role in healthcare.
$100 billion in savings for taxpayers, the contention from the Trump administration.
They think that many federal government employees are going to reply to an email they got with the word resign. Part of that email says, if you resign under this program, you will retain all pay and benefits regardless of your daily workload and will be exempted from all applicable in-person work requirements until...
Fox's Peter Ducey, America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. This year's tax season underway. The Illinois Department of Revenue began accepting 2024 state tax returns the same day the IRS began to accept federal individual tax income returns. Illinois participating in the IRS Direct File program this year. Officials at Willard Airport say they have a new project to focus on. Right now, they're focused on remodeling the car rental department. Tim Bannon, executive director, says they began to work on it last year. The space will have new lighting, new counters that are more secure to keep employees safe, and improvements for people with disabilities. Closing arguments could finally come to an end of the Michael Madigan landmark corruption trial. During his closing argument Monday, an attorney for the former Illinois House Speaker painted former Chicago alderman turned government mole Danny Solis as the villain, calling him, quote, a stage actor taking direction from investigators. And that's your check in news. You're up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Stevie J here. With Nate Evans of eXp Realty, you'll always get a stress-free sale for the most money.
Sell your home with Nate. Pick the price, pick the day. Go to thenateevansgroup.com.
Tim, talk to me about Gale Forex Trucking. Any news?
A couple of new drivers on board to join the team, and I think I may have one open spot left, maybe two. And we can always buy more trucks if they're good drivers. But it's been a challenge, but everybody has stayed safe, and I appreciate that. We've got a great group of guys that know that they have to safely service the customers, and they're doing that.
Describe the kind of driver you would love to hire.
Somebody that wants to work, knows the importance of being on time and servicing the customer, but also enjoys their quality home time with their family. It's difficult for truck drivers that are stuck out on the road for weeks at a time, so we just don't do that to them. We want them to have that quality time, rest their brain, rest their body, be with their family. That's real important to us.
How can people reach Tim Onstock?
They can get me at TIMO@GFTLOG.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, nice day today. 41, maybe 50 coming, maybe winter late next week, but around here at 31 degrees is pretty darn nice. Well, Brother Johnny is on from Dallas, Texas this morning, where he is presenting to the Presbyterian Church there about his camps in the summer to help young people find the Lord Jesus. Good work, Johnny, in Dallas. How are you?
We're good. Yeah, there's about 400 churches from all over the country in the Eco Presbyterian Church. We have about 10 different Presbyterian churches. So we're all on the same page, but we have a little different processes.
We have Ed Martin, Johnny. Ed is here, and you've got to tell people, Ed, what happened in your life over the last 3 weeks. I finally understood that it was the Chief of Staff for the Office of Management and Budget, had the title down and everything. And then, things changed, man. What happened?
Me too, guys. Well, great to be with you, and I missed talking to you. It's just been a little hectic, but more important than anything for your listeners, in life, it's all about what you can do for your kids. And I have to tell the story. I told you, Stevie J, off the air that my daughter won the science fair yesterday, and that's pretty good. And I said, all right. And then I was on an exchange later in the day, in how strange my life is, with Elon Musk and two other guys. And so I took the chance to say, hey, Elon, my daughter won the science fair. So he sent a heart emoji and a congratulations. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to brought it home to my daughter. And they don't care about any of the rest of the things I'm doing. This is a big deal. So that was really nice. And she's a good kid. So, the real thumbnail, the thumbnail is this. After President Trump won in November, we were talking, we've talked off the air and the listeners heard, is there some way to serve in the administration? And the job I wanted at that time was the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., because it's such an important position. It basically is the district attorney and the federal prosecutor for D.C., because D.C. is a federal city. And at the time, I mentioned it to the powers that be, and people said, there's another guy that really wants that and probably is better position. And so life moved on, and I never thought of it again. Well, that guy couldn't take the job. And so, no kidding, 23 hours before I was supposed to start my job as chief of staff to OMB, I was in an interview to say, would you do this? And so within, a few hours of that, I was onboarded, and then of course my office handled the pardons of not only the January 6ers, but the pro-lifers that were pardoned, and then also later that week, 2 cops that had been convicted of chasing a thug, drug dealer, killer, and that guy died in an accident as they chased him, and the cops were put in jail. So we pardoned them too. So it was a crazy week, and the media is not entirely happy to have me here, but everybody else is paying attention, and it's really interesting work, and it's really important. And it's so often it's sort of something President Trump did, the forgotten man. He said it. In all the glory that all these people do stuff, they forgot. In D.C., you're scared. If you're an old person or a young person, you're scared because these people have guns all over the place, right? And so you got to get the basics down before you can dream about, being an inventor or an astronaut or a mom or dad. You got to be able to come out of your house without being shot and killed. So we're going to get ourselves focused on the right stuff, and it's a privilege to do it. And I've you guys would have loved it. I've never been in the Oval Office until last week, and I was kind of speechless. I don't really know what happened because I kind of blacked out, and the president was talking to me, and so it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often that I'm speechless, but there you have it. But it's exciting, and you see all the energy around. I think trying to do really good things that the president promised all across the government. So it's history in the making, and I guess I'm right in the middle of it. So it's exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, I really think that's great about your daughter winning the science fair. I'd like to know what she did. But, she might get to invent something right there.
Yeah,
good for the patent system's great. And Eddie's going to protect our patent system now.
That's
right.
Yeah,
Ed, you were telling me that would really be the job you want to do, where you could felt like you could do be most effective and do the most good. And I guess you now, it's a matter of prioritizing what to do, because there's probably no end to the list of things that you can do.
Yeah, but that's Johnny. I was thinking when you mentioned that you were in Dallas doing that. You and I met in Virginia when you were talking to one of the churches there, and and the voucher camps and all. One of the things about leadership is not just doing something, but figuring out what the priorities are, right? And if you get your priorities wrong, doesn't matter how hard you do something, you're off base, and that's one of the things, I think one of the things President Trump did that more normal people said, thank goodness, he said, we're just going to have 2 sexes, male and female, and we're not going to let this crap go on. And it gives people a relief. But, you can't, I tell people all the time, you can't love your neighbor as yourself if you don't love yourself. You got to know that you're a gift from God. You are, each of us is, and then you can love your neighbor. And don't love your neighbor in Botswana if you're a jerk to your neighbor down the street, right? I mean, you got to get your priorities straight and I think that's one of the things that we're going to do, and I'm hoping to do. And you got to pray about and be close to the Lord to get it right.
Yeah, and I think that the greatest example is one of the things that's in the news, which is the January 6th thing, and the FBI prioritized that and went after 300,000 people, most of whom were just hardworking Americans who had a question. And meanwhile, we have all kinds of things. The FBI, who's an extremely capable organization, if they prioritize it right, can protect us from a lot. And we lost a lot of our capacity with that J6 stuff, Eddie, and you saw it firsthand. And so that's the kind of thing.
And let me speak sort of high from the 30,000 feet about it. But you're exactly right. And especially when the president's assessment, we have a constitution for a reason. His assessment that the pardon is to get as one. Look, even on CNN they had a January 6th, a pardoned January 6th guy, and he said, I got railroaded. I didn't have a fair system. I couldn't get a fair jury trial, and so yes, I pled guilty. But he said, I didn't think I did anything wrong, but I was stuck in a system that wasn't fair. And that's what we've always talked about. Our system is better than anywhere in the world, but it requires that it be protected and balanced, and it also requires that we have the values of fairness and justice and accountability that we have to make it work. It's not just about power. So I think you're right about all that.
Well, and I don't know, you'll be able to find some things out that I think we need to know a little more about how the pandemic was managed, and then what were the FBI agents doing on January 6th? Why didn't they have protection? That combination of we got embedded FBI agents and no protection, in fact, it was refused, doesn't add up. And we're supposed to go, well, that was a terrible thing they did. Who did it? Who did that? And that kind of thing is important for us to have any confidence in our government to find out really what happened, that transparency issue.
Yeah.
So, Eddie, it's quite a position. Congratulations. I think it's good for the country, Stevie.
No, it's huge. You got a really, really good man leading a very big office in our nation's capital. Yeah, it's a big deal. And now you got to find out what Donald Trump has lived for 10 years. Who can you trust, Ed? If you send an email and CNN has it, that's not right.
Yeah, I mean it's it's funny you say that. And now I'm in a position where I have to not just complain about how people trust you. I have to worry about it. And I'll tell you the first phone call I got officially was on the I came in on Monday. I was very busy Monday night. On Tuesday, the first day, full day in the office. First phone call I got was from the chief of police in D.C. and because that's this office is I'm a DA also, for lack of a better term. I'm a local prosecutor too. So and I spent time talking to her. She's an impressive lady. She talked about stuff that was going on. The first meeting I had was with the mayor of D.C. and the chief of police the next day. And the point was, I learned this in St. Louis. You can't persuade people to trust you without showing up. And so there's a part of this where you got to be present. Where two or more are gathered, there's something we know. There's something magic happens when you're in prayer. But the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. The Word wasn't made flesh and emailed to us or something we thought about. It dwelt among us, right? So you have to be present to the creation of with each other. And so showing up, I told the chief of police. I went over Friday. I went over to the police, the headquarters of the chief of police, and I went through and saw how they measure things and what they're doing. Got a briefing on things, and I said, I want to go out to the stations. There's I think 7 stations. I want to go out to the worst part of town and be seen. I want to meet people. I want to know who the pastor is. In St. Louis, there was a pastor named B.T. Rice, AME pastor, African American leader, and he was a liberal in lots of ways, but he was mostly trying to make sure that his congregation was safe. So when you go out and say, "Hey, Reverend Rice, what do you think?" it just changes the equation. So I watch the TV now, and I see them talk about me. I watched MSNBC last night. They talk about me, and I think, boy, I always thought they were lying. Now I know they're lying. But I also think to myself, how do I build the trust when people are hearing and feeling that? And that's the challenge. And it's hard not to be frustrated. But then again, if you believe that it's such a gift, life, then you just believe the chance to do something helpful is such a privilege. So it's hard to stay frustrated too long for me.
Well, I'll tell you, Eddie, you said, I always thought they were lying. Now I know they're lying. And I think the tack they're taking, which is basically doubling down, now everybody kind of knows not to believe them, and I think they're just making it worse. I mean, they're coming out with calling Elon a Nazi, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, when are these people going to get a life and go do something productive? Because it's not what they're doing. I just don't think is working. And I think that the kind of things that you'll be able to do and that Trump's doing is going to make improvements that are so rapid and obvious that people are going to start to say, "Hey, man, we're back on the right track." That's my prayer, certainly.
Yeah, and Ed, dare I say, you sound measured. What?
Yeah. Well, no. Don't get carried away. It's just radio. I'm just doing that for you guys. No. I mean, look. I will tell you this. And I honestly, guys, I won't be surprised if they're quoting this. I did an X post last Tuesday night. It was on the front page of the Washington Post the next day. So they're probably going to come and get the transcript of this and say this and that. But I just will say this. You can't have truth and you can't have goodness if you don't have accountability. That's just life. If you ask your kids to be good and you ask your kids to behave and you don't have accountability, and we're all children, right? We're all children of God. We're all children. But so you can't. So there has to be a reckoning, and in the sense that the truth has to come out. Now, I suspect the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post will say, I said there's a reckoning coming, but I'm not saying, listen to the whole sentence. Just like Elon didn't put his hand in the air like a thing, he put his hand on his heart, and then he put his hand out, which is just so, but that they won't cover that, cover that, but you have to have accountability. It may be that accountability is simply more transparency and more truth. What exactly happened, and instead of having to hear one side, which has, I think, been at least untruthful, if not a blatant lie. I'm talking about some of the major events, whether you're talking about January 6th, even the President Trump has said he's going to declassify all the stuff that we've been lied about so that we can see it. Crossfire Hurricane, we need to see it. We don't even know except what people told us. So that's a big part of what's going on. But again, the culture wants to make you afraid of accountability, and I think we cannot be afraid because we're living a lie then. We're living a lie about who we are if we don't hold ourselves accountable to God and to each other. And so I think that's a lot of what the president's doing. Yesterday the president, he didn't say stop funding anything, but he paused the funding on all these nonprofits that get hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars and that we don't know where the money goes. And so he said, let's stop and see what we can do. Well, you would have thought that he had defunded them permanently or hurt them. And again, I think normal people are like, you're going to yell at me about Nazi salutes, and I'm looking at how do I figure out, how to keep things going. And so I think, again, we got to live with what we're living in terms of the fake news, but just keep our head down and keep grinding.
The other thing too, Eddie, and you've been in fights for a cause, and we're going to do this, or running for a campaign, or after a certain job or position, and it takes a little bit different method of a campaign, and then you win, and it's like, whoa, what are we going to do now? We got to do some stuff, and it's like you get into that position. Now you got this great job, and it's like, okay, I got this, but now you're not on the outside looking in. You're the guy now, and so it's a whole
I'm the inside looking out. But and that's one of the things I tell people is if you're humble enough, you say I didn't get that right, or we're trying to figure that out, or how do we make that work, and that and so that would be good. But I will tell you the great thing. I can't tell you that the impact of the Doge guys throughout government, but the psychology of it, because they're all smarter. I mean, they're like Johnny. They're like all smarter than everybody else, but they're like totally earnest. And so it's like, wow, here's people that want to try to make the thing work. And sometimes you got to be like, guys, that is how it should work, but we can't do that practically. Like the way life works, Senator so and so wants it to stay that way. That's going to be part of our reality here, But anyway, so it's really fun. And again, the president is just energized beyond. He's 78 years old. He's like a 30-year-old kid. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Exactly. I feel like I should slow down at 70, and then you see him, and it's like, I can't do half of what he's doing. I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
But you got a lot of
amazing.
energy, too, so I think he's got the right guy there, Stevie, with Eddie.
No, Ed, it's unbelievable. I do know, however, what would impress the children. And that is when you're standing there with your hand on the Bible, John Roberts is reading you the oath of office, and your whole family's standing there as the president in whatever year. There you go. That would impress the kids. Okay,
well,
so
I don't know about that. I don't know. Hey, look, I'm just looking at. I just want if the Cardinals can go 500. I'll be impressed. That's my problem right now. It's looking pretty crappy.
But I love how you're wanting to get inside and shake hands. When Johnny ran for the U.S. Senate, he wanted to appeal to the African American community, so he asked for their vote.
Exactly.
And nobody's ever done that. And if you go inside Washington D.C. with liberal people, they're going to say the guy's a pretty normal guy, but I didn't know that until he came and we met all the time.
Right.
I think that's a great way to go. Great way.
Yeah, and and the thing is, like a lot of times we talk to each other, and we're so blessed. We get to talk to each other, and we got. I mean, not to sound like one of the lefties, but we have had such a blessed. They call it privilege. We call it blessed lives. But lots of people are they are stuck in situations, and if they can get a little bit of attention, it's like rocket fuel, right? It's like rocket. I'll never forget President Trump at one of our events. He turned to the kids of one of the guys who was in jail, and their lives, as you know, you take dad away, and you take dad away from a working class family where he's holding it together for everybody, and they don't have much, and he's gone, and their lives, 3 kids, lives were 3 boys, just turned upside down, taking dad away from boys. And President Trump turned to those kids and he said, this was like last summer, and he looked at him, he said, you're going to have great lives. And it almost surprised the kids. You could see him like, what? And he said, you're going to have great lives. I'm telling you, you're going to have great lives. I mean, you don't need to understand calculus. You need somebody to love you at the key moments in your life. And too many people are left by these idiots running. See, now I get Stevie J got me going. These idiots running everything, the media, the universities, they don't actually love their neighbor. They just love themselves completely, and they don't even love themselves actually. They hate themselves. But anyway, so I just think that attention, like you said, and you know what? It doesn't matter if you succeed in everything you do. It matters that you believe in the people, and it's a huge difference. And that's what Trump does. I mean, he does it every time. So it's exciting. It's an honor of my life.
No, hey, and Stevie, I'm kind of honored and jacked up now because we got to talk to Eddie Martin, U.S.
Oh yeah, Stevie J's gonna have to get a transcript up in about 10 minutes with CNN call. So good luck on that, Stevie J.
I'm wondering though. I'm wondering, does a guy on Wednesday still call this number, and will anybody answer? You're the show now. You're in the show, man.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I see. At some point, I may just be like, Stevie who? Stevie,
yeah, no, I know. No, we understand it. When Johnny told me that you're the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C., and I said, well, we just lost the White House because he was going to office at the White House, and we were planning to visit. So now what?
Yeah, that's right. No, I got a place. We're going to put you in a holding. Stevie J, we'll put in a holding cell. We'll put you in, and it'll be great. It'll be like, it'll be
Eddie,
like.
What are we going to do with all these donuts we got to take to the White House?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's expensive, man. We bought a lot. No, listen.
Now wait a second. You just set me up for a joke. The police department's 2 blocks away. We'll get rid of donuts. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Hey, listen, Ed, we're proud of you, and we're excited for you because we know the goodness that's within you, and you're going to do the right thing for the American people, and that's what we're looking for in Washington. I just respect the heck out of Donald Trump more than ever because he's got an eye for talent, and that's a major talent when you can eye talent. That's a major deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people in Central Illinois are behind you, Eddie. We're behind you.
We're behind you. Listen.
Well, thank you. No, you guys are. No, it's great. Thank you. You're nice to me. It's great friendship. It's like I told someone. I it's like talking to my buddies. We talk. I guess our listeners, and they're not on Facebook. They knocked us off there sometime sooner. But it's it's great to talk to you guys, and I appreciate it very much.
All right, Ed.
Yeah, Facebook should be climbing up. I think
we went on X. I gave Elon $167 for the year of streaming on X. And Ed, you mentioned that on your thing to your people, and all of a sudden we went from 25 people to 600. So you the man.
Yeah.
You are the man.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'll get if you can. Hey, Stevie J, if you can win the science fair at Therapy, I'll get Elon to send you a heart emoji. So get after it.
I think that's awesome. Ed, keep going. We'll be in touch. But thank you for being on it, and we always appreciate it very much.
Thanks, guys.
Brother Johnny and Ed Martin. Ed Martin is now the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. That's a big job with 900 people in his office. I mean, it is kind of a knew you win, man. Very cool. Ed Martin, I don't know. I have no idea if he's on every Wednesday anymore. I knew he was going to be on today because I think he cleared it out, but I think he's going to have a couple meetings going on. Okay, so Diane is off today, so I'm going to try and talk and dial at the same time. Got the news coming up in a couple of minutes.
Hey there.
From the U.S. Attorney in Washington to an equally important human, it's Steve Suderman at Good Vibes, my good friend at Realm Bar in Champaign. Well, I made the call because Diane's off today and tomorrow and Friday, so I just called you live. Anyway, how are you?
Well, I am good, and congratulations to Ed for getting the job he wanted. And it's got to be like stepping into a whirlwind.
He just said, I'm sitting there and I get a call to come to the Oval Office. He said it was so surreal. I'm sitting there, and then he just said he blacked out. So it's just like you're just you're just unbelievable.
Things blur,
and
like
how quickly life can change, and in very good ways. So pretty cool. All right, Steve Suderman, you got it going on at Good Vibes, where I can get the big screen TV. I still got to come by and buy your used Epson. I want to hook that up and see what I got.
Ooh, well, I sold it.
Oh,
I didn't hear from you for a while.
Dang it. Okay, well, we'll deal with that later. So
that one's going. But I have something in mind for you.
Okay.
That I hope will work out. But,
hey, so I got.
Let me tell you what's going on here.
I got a big basketball finish, and I've got a big game a week from Sunday. I still got time to get a big screen for the big game, right?
Yes, you do. Now, this Sunday's the Pro Bowl, which is kind of the ultimate yawn. But following Sunday, I think it's a national holiday now. It's celebrated with pizza, wings, and beer, and big screen TVs.
That's right.
So, if you prefer OLED or mini LED or Samsung or Sony or soundbars or surround sound, there is no better time to catch a deal on the screen of your dreams. And just so that you don't scrimp, we do have 1 year same as cash available to anybody with approved credit, so you can get maybe a little level up or a size up than you might have thought about before. So if you think about a 98-inch or an 86-inch, or you just want a world-class 65-inch TV, the discounts are very real. Tariffs, if they happen, will drive these prices up pretty substantially, and that'll be sooner than later if it happens. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but they're sure talking about it. But so there's just no reason to wait. If you need one or just want one and it's not out of reach, we got time to put it on your wall.
Yep, and you'll install it beautifully like you have done for over 52 or 3 years now. I think we've climbed
past 53, I know.
Well, there's no better guy to get your theater going, no better guy to get your sound going, and he has the people and the experience. It's Round Barn right next to the driver's license facility. You really set that up, and I was there when the building was empty. You guys really made a nice display, lots of neat TVs. And you can kind of say that one's really nice, or that one's a little brighter. You really compare them side by side.
The store presents pretty well, and so does our website. So if you want to get a little taste, there's a virtual tour on the site. It's a little out of date, but you can see what it looks like, and you can see what all these deals are.
Yeah, gvibes.com, isn't it?
Leave your house.
gvibes.com, is that the website?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Steve
Yeah,
Suderman.
not goodvibes.com. There's something very
G-Vibes.
different there.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. G5s.com, G5s.com. Hey, listen, keep up your good work. We love your store.
Thanks, Stevie.
Talk soon. Steve Suderman over at Good Vibes, Round Barn in Champaign. And if you need something, he's the man. All right, going to break for the news, and we'll be back. I am Stevie J. It is January 29. Wednesday? Yeah, January 29. Illinois leaves today to go to Nebraska to take on the Cornhuskers tomorrow night. Yeah, we don't know about Tomislav Isevich. I bet we'll get a little more, perhaps. I don't know if you can expect him to be back tomorrow, but maybe sooner than later, maybe. We can be hopeful that we get our 7'1" center back in play. The news now. Coming up on 8 o'clock. Glad you're listening. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Undoing something else the Biden administration did. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and the push for mass deportations.
The people of this country want these dirtbags out. They want their communities to be safe.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem just told Fox that she today revoked a temporary status for Venezuelan migrants here illegally.
They were going to be able to stay here and violate our laws for another 18 months, and we stopped that.
Secretary Noem took part in raids yesterday in New York City. Among the ones nationwide that arrested nearly 1,000 more illegal immigrants charged with crimes, more than 800 others ordered detained. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. goes to the Senate next hour for the first of 2 days of confirmation hearings as Health and Human Services nominee. Republican Senator Roger Marshall supports Kennedy, telling Fox,
America is not very healthy right now, that 40% of Americans have a chronic disease. Our children, 20% of them are on some type of prescription drug.
Kennedy plans to say in his opening statement he's not anti-vaccine or anti-industry. He's pro-safety, but his cousin, Caroline Kennedy, calls RFK Jr. a predator.
Bobby is addicted to attention and power.
She posted it on social media after writing a letter to senators warning them about
his constant denigration of our healthcare system and the conspiratorial half-truths he's told about vaccines.
President Trump wants to reduce the federal workforce, offering buyouts to those who don't want to return to offices.
The new Trump team thinks they could save $100 billion taxpayer dollars because they think that many people, that many federal government employees are going to reply to an email they got last night with the word resign.
Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House. Those who resign by next Thursday would be paid through September 30th. The president's also readying a new executive order today that would cut federal funding to schools that teach radical gender ideology or critical race theory. A new national assessment of educational progress shows fourth graders scored a little better at math in tests last year compared to 2022, but a little worse in reading. For eighth grade, math scores were unchanged, but reading comprehension got worse. A third of them failed to read at even a basic level. That's more than ever. America's listening to Fox News.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
It's time now to throw out your overpriced big wireless contract, throw it overboard with a qualifying plan of just $45 a month. You can choose a free iPhone 14 or free Samsung Galaxy. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 25 gigs of data, mobile hotspot. You get all of it. Also, they use the same 5G network. So get your free iPhone 14 or your Samsung Galaxy. You simply dial pound 250. You say the keyword save now from Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
President Trump's attempt to whittle down the federal workforce with buyouts comes after his attempt to review federal spending and put a hold on it was blocked in court.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said at her Tuesday briefing that everyday Americans
who receive direct assistance from the federal government, you will not be impacted by this federal freeze.
Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Campbell said as of Tuesday,
the Commonwealth tried to draw almost $40 million from Medicaid and haven't received the payment yet.
California AG Rob Bonta says it could affect FEMA funding to fight wildfires.
We need it. We need it now. We needed it yesterday.
The AG's filing followed a federal judge's block of the funding freeze sought by a lawsuit from nonprofits and small businesses. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The Trump Middle East envoy is in Israel today. Steve Witkoff was part of the talks that ultimately led to that ceasefire agreement in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. And Witkoff is there for more talks today on the next phase of that deal. Tomorrow, 3 more hostages Hamas keeps holding in Gaza will be released. Now, this week, or rather next week, the president will host Israel's prime minister.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to be the first foreign leader to visit President Trump in his second term. The president has invited the prime minister to the White House on February 4th. The visit comes as a ceasefire and hostage release deal in Gaza remains in place between Israel and Hamas. Talks to reach an agreement on a second phase begin Monday. Israel is the largest recipient of U.S. military aid, and President Trump last week lifted a hold on 2,000-pound bombs that was put in place by the Biden administration. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
On Wall Street, stock futures down a little ahead of the opening bell later this hour. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. This year's tax season underway. Illinois Department of Revenue began accepting 2024 state tax returns Monday. Same day, the IRS began to accept federal individual income tax returns. Illinois participating in the IRS Direct File program this year. Eligible taxpayers able to use the program to electronically complete their 2024 federal tax returns for free. Closing arguments could finally come to an end of the Michael Madigan landmark corruption trial. During his closing argument Monday, an attorney for the former Illinois House Speaker painted former Chicago alderman turned government mole Danny Solis as the villain, calling him a stage actor. 55 people evacuated from an apartment building in Urbana, which caught fire Monday in the 1200 block of East Harding Drive. Heavy smoke coming from the 5th floor of the 6-story building. When crews arrived, they located and extinguished the fire on the 1st floor of the trash container, which extended up the trash chute to the 2nd floor. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Beautiful looking morning across East Central Illinois from the studios in downtown Philo, the center of the universe. I'm so happy to be broadcasting to you today and bringing in meteorologist Greg Solier, who knows weather like every other 12-year-old who gets a little weather station when he's 12. Come on, man.
Yep. That's right.
Studying ever since.
That's right. That in one of those Time Life weather books, man, and I was off to the races.
Man, those are so many good pictures. Holy cow.
Yeah.
You see some stuff in the sky and you're going, how's that happen? But he knows.
There you go. Yeah.
He's pretty good at this, man.
Well, thank you.
Our weatherman, Greg Solier, now with a peek at the weather. What are you looking like here besides gorgeous?
Well, it's just that at 33 Willard and Savoy, 37 already at Danville, 32 up at the Kankakee, keeping an eye on that flow back towards the Indiana line. Ice jamming effects, and the grounds are frozen. They're softening, and we're going to put rain on top of that. So that issue with maybe some swelling of streams and rivers might be on the rise around here in the coming days, the next couple of weeks. A pretty active weather pattern. 34 at Peoria right now, 40 at St. Louis, 37 over at the Brickyard. These temperatures are kind of what you expect in a late January afternoon around here, so we'll be off and running quite nicely. And the next weather system is 99% rain across the area beginning tomorrow afternoon through Friday, and a pretty complex, busy, wide-ranging temperature pattern, and no shortage systems going forward the second half of next week and in through a good part of the month of February. Hold on for winter time. It's coming back. Sunny and 45 today with almost an early spring feel with a northwest breeze, 12 to 24. Been on the gusty side, a little bit colder tonight. Clear skies. Winds will come around southerly 27 tomorrow. Sun in the morning, clouds around midday, and then mid to late afternoon. Some rain breaks out at 46. We'll hold in the low 40s tomorrow night, up to 47, but drop during the afternoon on Friday. Rain in the morning, drizzle in the afternoon. Up north towards the Kankakee, a little snow mixed in as that system moves out. And then for the weekend, if you haven't maybe brought in the Christmas decorations quite yet, we're into February. 42 Saturday, 54 on Sunday, and we cool off through next week with 40s on Monday, 30s Tuesday and Wednesday, and kind of a mixed bag of moisture at some point in the middle and late portions of next week as well. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
All right, buddy, thank you so much. ESPN 93.5, I am Stevie J. This is our friend Nicolée Ambrose. She's kind of a big deal in Maryland, but the problem is she is the last known Republican in the state. Nicolée, how are you?
I'm great. I'm just waiting for the cricket soundtrack once again. But Stevie J, always great to be on in Illinois with you.
Bueller, Ambrose. No, you are. I don't know another Republican in your state, so congratulations on being so darn prominent. Okay.
Thank you for referencing one of my favorite movies, though. I appreciate that.
It's just amazing movie. That thing is so darn funny. Bueller. Okay, Nicole Lee Ambrose in Maryland. How's it been for you since the inauguration?
Great. Just been saying happy inauguration to everyone. It's fantastic. Yeah, I was at the Liberty Ball, got to partake in the inaugural festivities. It was a party. Great to celebrate this sea change. Thank God. It's about time.
What thank God. What amazing amount. What is it? 10 days now? How much, what would the list look like of things he's done in 10 days? What?
I know. Well, thank God he's on our side.
Right.
Right?
No, that's right.
And
that's
I
right.
think more than Joe Biden certainly got done in his 4 years. But it has been absolutely fascinating to see the left just have this collective meltdown and litter of kittens over, day one, much less, the first week. It's been fantastic. And, I don't think the media has realized, and by the media, I mean the mainstream media, I mean MSNBC, NBC, CNN, I don't think they realize how little faith the American people have in them at this point, that they keep trying to report false narratives, like, for example, on this Office of Management and Budget Directive to cut funding, or not cut funding, pause funding so it can be examined. And they're flat out peddling false narratives like, oh, grandma's not going to get her Social Security check. And although some people are concerned, the majority of people just know not to take their reports at face value anymore.
Well, it was the announcement that the Trump administration directing widespread pause of federal loans and grants. This is to review it, correct? It's not to end it necessarily.
Correct. So of the $10 trillion the government spends of our U.S. taxpayer money, $3 trillion with a T, of that is grants and loans. So a lot of that would be discretionary. And much of it, I'm sure 90 to 99% of it is fine. No one's going to have a problem with, your local library getting its grant. This is not what there's concern about. Let me give you examples of what there is concern about. Caroline Leavitt enumerated two, and I want to delve into a third. She talked about how, for example, the Biden administration had been spending $50 million on condoms for Gaza.
What?
So, right. I don't think every Gaza male needs 1,000 condoms, but we also know from videos and our intelligence networks is that Hamas was using these condoms to create, like, balloons to float over explosives over the border to Israel. So, no, we don't need to be funding weapons to attack our allies.
I had not heard that one.
Right.
That's okay. So some of I think common sense is probably two great words, what we're using today to say, well, this doesn't make any sense. A lot of what we're doing hasn't made any sense to me.
Right. Yes. And let's really go into my biggest area of concern, which I think President Trump, rightfully so, got burned so badly by this. We were just about to spend $37 million and send it out to the World Health Organization. Trump withdrew us from the WHO. What do we also know about them? Well, they helped cover up COVID-19. They covered up China's role in it. And here most of their funding was coming from us. And here we were about to send them $37 million more dollars. But let's delve into this. Anthony Fauci funded gain-of-function research, and he repeatedly went before Congress and said he had not done that. But yet we know from May of last year that his assistant helped get money to NGOs, Dr. David Morin's, Fauci's best buddy, to help fund gain-of-function research that went to the Wuhan lab of virology to help develop gain-of-function viruses like COVID-19. So I am so glad for the first time in our lifetime that we finally have a president that is going to get to the bottom of this, examine this to make sure we do not fund the next global health pandemic.
Is it important to go back a little bit and to find out what happened for the sake of history? I mean, to accurately say, okay, this is actually what happened. so that we know the proper history.
And can I just tell you, I was just pulling up all of the congressional testimony from May of 2024, where we had the proof in the emails, in the grant documents, funding gain-of-function research. And we could see it there in lettering in black and white. And yet here we have people that we paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to Anthony Fauci, plus his millions of dollars for his security detail, plus how he could somehow, unlike any other federal employee, make millions of dollars off of investments in companies that he could influence their grants on. No other federal employee has this deal. I have no idea how this man got away with it. But of course, we need to pick these things apart. We need to look at recent examples of bad actors doing the wrong things, hurting the American public, hurting our health. And of course, we should not be funding this. It is common sense, as you said, but no one's actually taken the action to stop this stuff before. And I'm so grateful that we are now supposed to be examining this, minus the federal judge who is trying to pause this until Monday afternoon.
Right.
So we'll have to see how it goes.
Okay, lastly, do you think all of the nominees for the cabinet positions will get passed?
I sure hope so. The question will be how many more tie-breaking votes does J.D. Vance have to cast?
Yeah.
But I sure hope so.
Okay. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is what they're saying is most at risk. Why?
Well, I would argue that both she and RFK are most at risk because what did they do? They left the Democrat Party.
I see. Okay.
They are the biggest traitors, and so that is what the Democrats are more upset about than anyone else, because how dare you leave their plantation?
Well,
so,
did you see what Nicole Shanahan, RFK Jr.'s vice presidential pick, Nicole Shanahan worth $1.6 billion. Did you see her on X last night, what she said?
I did not. What'd she say?
If you vote against RFK Jr., I'm going to work for your leaving your position next time. And she said, $1.6 billion has to get your attention if you're an animal that simply wants to preserve yourself and be back in office. So that'll get your attention when you stroke no for RFK Jr. So there you go.
I love it. We need many of these elected officials, right? I mean, you think of someone like AOC. People constantly say, how'd this woman get elected? She won a Democrat primary, and no one ever gives it a second chance. You would hope, a second look, you would hope in places like New York City, in places like L.A., that people would look and say, forget being completely fixated that Democrats are the only people who represent me. No, Democrats just burned down your city. Democrats have driven New York into the arms of drug cartels completely running the city and taking all of our money and raping women and children with no repercussion until this past week. So you would sincerely hope that people will start to use that common sense and say, we can do better.
Nicolee Ambrose, how can people find you?
Oh, well, check me out. I'm on Facebook at Nicolee USA. I've got my podcast on YouTube, All American Talk Show. We've got fun stuff. Twitter at Nicolee Ambrose. Light it up. We were just talking about all of the crazy stuff in the past week of the Trump administration and the left freaking out about it on our podcast last night.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for being on, Nicolee.
Great chatting.
Now, you betcha. Planning for retirement can seem overwhelming. Well, Social Security may not provide enough income for your retirement years. Few employers today offer a traditional company pension plan that guarantees some money will be coming in. Well, you can get with the good people at Busey Wealth Management and talk about everything. Determine your needs. What are you going to need? Calculate if there's a gap. Figure out how much you really need to save now and build something. Understand your investment options. The pros like the team at Busey Wealth Management can assist you in selecting investments that are appropriate for your goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon. Busey Wealth Management skilled professionals can help you understand your retirement income needs. You can call them at 800-67-BUSEY or visit busey.com/wealth management, and you can go online, set up your own appointment. At Busey, they're proud to offer convenient digital banking platforms and everything else, including planning for retirement. Busey, for over 155 years, member FDIC. All right, we're going to break. We'll be right back after your weather forecast with our learned one, meteorologist Greg Solier, and then we'll get your Fox Business next. It is 8:19.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Florida, Champaign and Benefits Saturday. Nice couple of 2 or 3 days still ahead with regard to temperatures for late January, beginning part of February. And of all things, a significant rain system coming up our way for the end part of the week, beginning tomorrow afternoon. Keep an eye on streams and rivers that have to an inch worth of rain expected, and they are certainly iced over. They'll be breaking up and are doing just that in the mild air. And so some lowland ag areas may be subject to some ponding and local flooding. And we are into a dynamic weather pattern the second half of next week and going forward from a winter weather standpoint. Sunny, breezy, mild for the day today, up around 45. Mostly clear, colder tonight, diminishing wind down to 27. Tomorrow, sunny in the morning, increasing clouds for the afternoon as rain breaks out, the high at 46. Rainy tomorrow night, low down to 42. And cloudy, turning cooler for the day on Friday. Rain in the morning, some drizzle in the afternoon. North of Champaign, there may be a little wet snow before ending in evening time. Morning high in the 40s and then falling temperatures. 42 and a partly cloudy dry Saturday, 54 on Sunday, and a cool off slated for next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
There's a new merger offer in the airline business. Frontier Group is trying for the second time to merge with Spirit Airlines. Its previous offer for Spirit was topped by JetBlue, but then that merger was blocked by the Justice Department. However, Spirit has said a fresh deal with Frontier would be too risky and costly and woefully insufficient financially, particularly compared with Frontier's previous deal. Brinker International, parent of Chili's and Maggiano's, is reporting a dramatic increase in sales in the recent quarter. Sales at Chili's rose more than 30%. Maggiano's sales also increased, but by less than 2%. Hess, the oil and gas producer, is reporting a better than expected quarter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
It's the Will Cain Show.
Ideological goals like climate change, green initiatives. Because attention and resources are a finite game, they are diverted. It is pulled away from the priorities that matter to citizens directly. When you pay your taxes, there are certain things that you have a right to expect. Police protection, emergency response. Anything given to misplaced priorities ends up something that can hurt citizens when they need their government.
Streaming live 12 p.m. Eastern weekdays on FoxNews.com and the Fox News YouTube channel.
Friendly sales team help you find just the right appliance, just the right price.
I'm Paul Reekin, and you know my dad, Dennis, for the famous
Wow.
Yeah, that's the one. That
Wow
is a Central Illinois tradition, decades in the making. It's our award-winning staff that puts the
Wow
in Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We have in-house service, in-house appliance installation, a knowledgeable sales staff that will make sure you get the guaranteed best deal on your next appliance purchase. Oh, and let's not forget, a jingle that's been around for decades. Just like the quality service we provide, I'll make sure it's here for decades to come. We're the store that makes you say,
Wow!
We stand behind what we sell, we offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
Holiday hangover got you feeling weighted down. We're not talking candy, pie, and eggnog-induced pounds. We're talking about the clutter chaos. Old furniture, tangled lights, and junk galore. Time to detox your space with 2 Men in a Junk Truck. Ditch the junk and start fresh. Head to 2menjt.com and schedule your junk removal today. Use code NEWYEAR25 and score $25 off your next junk removal. Offer valid at 2 Men in a Junk Truck, Champaign, Illinois.
What is most important in your life? This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. If you're launching a career, raising a family, planning for retirement, or creating a legacy, we can help. At Provident, we provide strategic thinking and perspective that help clients realize their goals. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
From computer systems to brakes and tires too, at PDR, fixing cars is what they do. Remember, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 or use their dedicated text-only line at 383-0619. Additional information including repair quotes and online scheduling requests available from the website at pdrauto.com. Remember, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
At Pards in Urbana, the boots just keep on coming. They're known for their huge collection of men's cowboy boots, women's cowgirl boots, kids' boots, and even shoes. If you're searching for top footwear brands, look no further than Pards. They carry a wide variety, including Ariat, Dan Post, Smoky Mountain, Roper, Double H, and more. And if socks or accessories are what you need, they've got all your high-quality essentials. Since 1968, Pards has been serving their customers with high-quality merchandise. And if you haven't been to Pards in a while, a lot has changed. Go check them out just off University Avenue in Urbana.
You can always text in 217-359-2255. That is the Fisher National Bank text line. Good to have you listening. Watts Copy Systems, they offer cost-efficient solutions for busy offices. If you want a free evaluation, 217-352-0428. And I got life insurance, I got car, I got auto, all the things, car, auto, and home, of course. Kurt Lenschow will help you. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm and Kurt are there. Well, if you have not heard, yesterday the White House said that those drones that were flying so mysteriously ahead and people were freaking out, they were FAA approved combined with hobbyists. That's it. So it wasn't some adversary, some China, wasn't aliens. I don't understand why nobody bothered to tell us because, oh, okay. It was the only reaction. Whatever. But the fact that it was so secret. And the White House, Caroline Leavitt, only 27 years old. She's everywhere. She's the new White House spokesperson. She's 27, just had a baby. And she had her first media. And you know what? They have the new media now. They have a couple of seats in the White House where reporters in non-traditional, maybe you're a podcaster, an influencer, you might get a seat in the press room. White House has opened up applications, so apply. Why not? And maybe you find yourself in the White House press room asking questions. Anyway, it's a new innovative saying, listen, there's a lot of new media out there. And there is. John Decker, our friend who's on tomorrow, had two questions for Caroline Leavitt, who called on John by name. I think she memorized the seating charts and called all the reporters by name, did not have a bundle and a big notebook to reference. She knows everything off the top of her head. And the fact that Peter Doocy of Fox News said, well, Donald Trump talks to the media like 10 times a day. We might be running out of questions. Because in one point of the presser yesterday, Caroline said, you know what? I haven't actually talked to the president about that. I'll ask him. Because everything else, everybody kind of knows. He's always talks. The access went from 0 to 100 from the standpoint of reporters, so there's always going to be stuff out there. But it's unbelievable. And that's what he did the first time around. He talked to the media all the time. So I don't think we'll be surprised. He seems to be doing what he said he was going to do on the campaign trail, which, again, to me is kind of a shock in today's politics. Somebody actually runs and says, I'm going to do this. And then when he's done and he gets sworn in, he does this. He does what he said, which is like, really? He's following through? Weird. Okay, we had our friend Ed Martin. If you're just tuning in and missed that, I'm going to play a clip of that again. Ed is now the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., and that's a big job. And it's a job he's always wanted. And he was going to be the chief of staff for Office of Management and Budget, which is housed in the White House. So that was a big gig too, but he was, something happened. And the guy didn't want the job that was asked to do the job. So they got Ed Martin, and he is now the U.S. Attorney for Washington, which means a lot. I think he's the most powerful federal law enforcement official in Washington, D.C. He's already met with the mayor, met with the chief of police. He's got to go meet everybody in the city that he can. And he was on last night. You got to hear some of that with he and Brother Johnny, Ed Martin. And I don't know if he's on anymore. He doesn't know either. He sent an email to his staff, and it got leaked to CNN in 5 seconds. So, yeah, he's got to deal with stuff now. So we'll see. It's 8:30. News next.
Is the plumbing in your home driving you crazy? From leaks to drips or remodels, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing has you covered. Voted CU's #1 plumbing company, and there's a reason. Treating all customers like friends. Backed up sewers, clogged drains. Call today. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, 217-841-4728, or visit dogtownheatingandair.com. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Illinois basketball season is underway. Single game tickets to see your Fighting Illini at State Farm Center are on sale now at fightingillini.com. Great seats are still available. Lock in your tickets for big games against Big Ten opponents before they're gone. Don't miss your chance to see the winningest team in the Big Ten Conference over the last 5 years. Be part of the atmosphere and get tickets at fightingillini.com.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. The Trump administration is offering nearly all federal employees 8 months' pay to resign by next Thursday.
A senior Trump official says the goal is to, quote, make sure all federal workers are on board with the new administration's plan to have federal employees in the office and adhering to higher standards.
Fox's Brooks Singman, a judge, has at least temporarily blocked an effort by the Trump administration to freeze federal grants and loans.
The pause in federal money rattled Capitol Hill. Lawmakers scrambled to find out if the move suspended health programs or transportation projects. Republicans argued the halt was customary for a new administration, but privately GOP sources conceded there was confusion.
Fox's Chad Pergram. Health and Human Services Secretary nominee Robert F. Kennedy Jr. starts 2 days of Senate confirmation hearings today. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Closing arguments could finally come to an end of the Michael Madigan landmark corruption trial. During his closing argument Monday, an attorney for the former Illinois House Speaker painted former Chicago alderman turned government mole Danny Solis as the villain, calling him a stage actor. 55 people evacuated from an apartment building in Urbana, which caught fire Monday in the 1200 block of East Harding Drive. Had they smoke coming from the 5th floor of the 6-story building. When crews arrived, they located and extinguished the fire on the 1st floor of the trash container, which extended up the trash chute to the 2nd floor. This year's tax season underway. Illinois Department of Revenue began accepting 2024 state tax returns Monday. Same day, the IRS began to accept federal individual income tax returns. Illinois participating in the IRS Direct File program this year. Eligible taxpayers able to use the program to electronically complete their 2024 federal tax returns for free. You're locally up to date from the Stevie J Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Drive in, drive out. Recycling's what Max is all about. You can make some cash and do your share. We make it really simple because we care. It doesn't matter large or small. Our friendly staff will handle it all. Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. There's no one-size-fits-all retirement plan. Finding the right plan for you depends on many factors. The good news is we can help you improve your retirement readiness, whatever your situation. Contact us today at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois. Champaign-Urbana this Saturday. Nice day ahead for the day today. Winds will stay up. The next weather system, dynamic one out of the southern plains, will generate a wide and expansive area of rain for tomorrow afternoon through Friday. Drier air, slightly cooler air for Saturday. Another big warm-up on Sunday. And weather shows a cooling trend around here for the first half of next week with mixed moisture late next week. Sunshine in 45 for the day today and a west-northwesterly wind at 12 to 24 and gusty. Tonight, mostly clear, colder down to 27. Diminishing west-southwest wind turning southerly. Tomorrow, sunshine in the morning, then increasing clouds and some rain breaking out in the afternoon. High about 46 and a gusty south wind. Periods of rain down to 42 for tomorrow night. Cloudy turning colder for the day on Friday. Rain in the morning, drizzle in the afternoon, a little mixed snow late in the day. Highs up to 47 with falling temperatures as winds turn northerly. 42 and a partly cloudy Saturday, up to 54 on Sunday, partly sunny, dry. 40s on Monday, 30s next Tuesday and Wednesday. For TVJ Broadcasting, I'm Beetle Tris, Greg Soldier.
All right, 8:35. Diane's off the rest of the week. You got me. Glad you're listening. 217-359-2255. If you have something to say, you are welcome to always chime in. Okay. So Ed Martin was on last hour. He is the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. And because D.C. is a federal jurisdiction, his job will include all local prosecution of crime, all federal prosecutions that originate in Washington or that have jurisdiction for in some other way. So he'll have everything from carjackings to national security cases all over the world. It sounds like an incredible job. He was called to the Oval Office, and the president was signing the pardon for the 2 D.C. cops who were prosecuted for chasing a gangbanger who later died in an accident. And so they pardoned the 2 officers, and he was there with like 2 or 3 other people, and he said it was surreal. And today on the air, he essentially said, I blacked out. I couldn't believe I was in the Oval Office. So he was... I should be playing some of these. I played something with government waste last hour that has gotten some reaction. I'm going to see if I have time to... I'll save that and maybe either do it again today or maybe tomorrow or another day. So just ridiculous. Like there's a position for testing bubble wrap in our government to see if it relieves stress. It does when you pop the bubbles. But our government, your tax dollars helping to fund $600,000 a year. And how many times can you test if bubble wrap relieves stress? That's just one of the items that's been cut. All right, so Ed Martin talking about his daughter winning a science fair. As we discussed last hour, Ed and brother Johnny here on ESPN 93.5.
And then I was on an exchange later in the day in how strange my life is with Elon Musk and 2 other guys. And so I took the chance to say, hey, Elon, my daughter won the science fair. So he sent a heart emoji and a congratulations. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to brought it home to my daughter. And they don't care about any of the rest of the things I'm doing. This is a big deal. So that was really nice. And she's a good kid. So, the real thumbnail, was this. After President Trump won in November, we were talking, we've talked off the air and the listeners heard, is there some way to serve in the administration? And the job I wanted at that time was the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., because it's such an important position. It basically is the district attorney and the federal prosecutor for D.C., because D.C. is a federal city. And at the time, I mentioned it to the powers that be, and people said, there's another guy that really wants that and probably is better position. And so life moved on, and I never thought of it again. Well, that guy couldn't take the job. And so, no kidding, 23 hours before I was supposed to start my job as chief of staff to OMB, I was in an interview to say, would you do this? And so within a few hours of that, I was onboarded, and then of course my office handled the pardons of not only the January 6ers, but the pro-lifers that were pardoned, and then also later that week 2 cops that had been convicted of chasing a thug drug dealer killer, and that guy died in an accident as they chased him, and the cops were put in jail, so we pardoned them too. So it was a crazy week, and the media is not entirely happy to have me here, but everybody else is paying attention, and it's really interesting work, and it's really important. And it's so often it's sort of something President Trump did, the forgotten man. He said in all the glory that all these people do stuff, they forgot. In D.C., you're scared. If you're an old person or a young person, you're scared because these people have guns all over the place, right? And so you got to get the basics down before you can dream about being an inventor or an astronaut or a mom or dad. You got to be able to come out of your house without being shot and killed. So we're going to get ourselves focused on the right stuff, and it's a privilege to do it. And I've you guys would have loved it. I've never been in the Oval Office until last week, and I was kind of speechless. I don't really know what happened because I kind of blacked out, and the president was talking to me, and so it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often that I'm speechless, but there you have it. But it's exciting, and you see all the energy around. I think trying to do really good things that the president promised all across the government. So it's history in the making, and I guess I'm right in the middle of it. So it's exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, I really think that's great about your daughter winning the science fair. I'd like to know what she did. But, she might get to invent something right there.
Yeah,
good for patent system's great. And Eddie's going to protect our patent system now.
That's
right. Yeah, Ed, you were telling me that would really be the job you want to do, where you could felt like you could do be most effective and do the most good. And I guess you now it's a matter of prioritizing what to do, because there's probably no end to the list of things that you can do.
Yeah, but that's Johnny. I was thinking when you mentioned that you were in Dallas doing that. You and I met in Virginia when you were talking to one of the churches there, and and the voucher camps and all. One of the things about leadership is not just doing something, but figuring out what the priorities are, right? And if you get your priorities wrong, doesn't matter how hard you do something, you're off base, and that's one of the things, I think one of the things President Trump did that more normal people said, thank goodness, he said, we're just going to have 2 sexes, male and female, and we're not going to let this crap go on. And it gives people a relief. But, you can't, I tell people all the time, you can't love your neighbor as yourself if you don't love yourself. You gotta know that you're a gift from God. You are, each of us is, and then you can love your neighbor. And don't love your neighbor in Botswana if you're a jerk to your neighbor down the street, right? I mean, you got to get your priorities straight. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to do, and I'm hoping to do. And you got to pray about and be close to the Lord to get it right.
Yeah, and I think that the greatest example is one of the things that's in the news, which is the January 6th thing, and the FBI prioritized that and went after 300,000 people, most of whom were just hardworking Americans who had a question. And meanwhile, we have all kinds of things. The FBI, who's an extremely capable organization, if they prioritize it right, can protect us from a lot. And we lost a lot of our capacity with that J6 stuff, Eddie, and you saw it firsthand. And so that's and let me speak sort of high from the 30,000 feet about it. But you're exactly right. And especially when the president's assessment, we have a constitution for a reason. His assessment that the pardon is to get as one look. Even on CNN, they had a January 6th, a pardoned January 6th guy, and he said, I got railroaded. I didn't have a fair system. I couldn't get a fair jury trial, and so yes, I pled guilty. But he said, I didn't think I did anything wrong, but I was stuck in a system that wasn't fair. And that's what we've always talked about. Our system is better than anywhere in the world, but it requires that it be protected and balanced. And it also requires that we have the values of fairness and justice and accountability that we, have to make it work. It's not just about power. So I think you're right about all that. Well, and I don't know, you'll be able to find some things out that I think we need to know a little more about
how the pandemic was managed, and then what were the FBI agents doing on January 6th? Why didn't they have protection? That combination of we got embedded FBI agents and no protection, in fact, it was refused, doesn't add up. And we're supposed to go, well, that was a terrible thing they did. Who did it? Who did that? And that kind of thing is important for us to have any confidence in our government to find out really what happened, that transparency issue.
Yeah.
So, it's quite a position. Congratulations. I think it's good for the country, Stevie J.
No, it's huge. You got a really, really good man leading a very big office in our nation's capital. Yeah, it's a big deal. And now you've got to find out what Donald Trump has lived for 10 years. Who can you trust, Ed? If you send an email and CNN has it, that's not right.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. And now I'm in a position where I have to not just complain about how people trust you. I have to worry about it. And I'll tell you, the first phone call I got officially was on the, I came in on Monday. I was very busy Monday night. On Tuesday, the first day, full day in the office, first phone call I got was from the chief of police in D.C. And because that's, this office is, I'm a DA also, for lack of a better term. I'm a local prosecutor too. So, and I spent time talking to her. She's an impressive lady. She talked about stuff that was going on. The first meeting I had was with the mayor of D.C. and the chief of police the next day. And the point was, I learned this in St. Louis. You can't persuade people to trust you without showing up. And so there's a part of this where you got to be present. Where two or more are gathered, there's something we know. There's something magic happens when you're in prayer. But the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. The Word wasn't made flesh and emailed to us or something we thought about. It dwelt among us, right? So you have to be present to the creation of with each other. And so showing up, I told the chief of police, I went over to the police, the headquarters of the chief of police, and I went through and saw how they measure things and what they're doing, got a briefing on things. And I said, I want to go out to the stations. There's, I think, 7 stations. I want to go out to the worst part of town and be seen. I want to meet people. I want to know who the pastor is. In St. Louis, there was a pastor named B.T. Rice, AME pastor, African-American leader. And he was a liberal in lots of ways, but he was mostly trying to make sure that his congregation was safe. So when you go out and say, hey, Reverend Rice, what do you think? It just changes the equation. So I watch the TV now, and I see them talk about me. I watched MSNBC last night to talk about me, and I think, boy, I always thought they were lying. Now I know they're lying, but I also think to myself, how do I build the trust when people are hearing and feeling that? And that's the challenge, and it's hard not to be frustrated. But then again, if you believe that it's such a gift, life, then you just believe the chance to do something helpful is such a privilege. So it's hard to stay frustrated too long for me.
Ed Martin, last hour. Big position. The new United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, Ed Martin. And I don't know if he's on anymore. He's been on for years with us on Wednesdays. And we'll see. He didn't know. He's going to be busier than he ever was. But the fact that his daughter won a science fair yesterday and Elon Musk sent something is cool. That's pretty dang cool. 8:47.
Our friendly sales team help you to find just the right appliance, just the right price.
I'm Paul Reekin, and you know my dad, Dennis, for the famous
Wow.
Yeah, that's the one. That
Wow
is a Central Illinois tradition, decades in the making. It's our award-winning staff that puts the
Wow
in Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We have in-house service, in-house appliance installation, a knowledgeable sales staff that will make sure you get the guaranteed best deal on your next appliance purchase. Oh, and let's not forget, a jingle that's been around for decades. Just like the quality service we provide, I'll make sure it's here for decades to come. We're the store that makes you say,
Wow!
We stand behind what we sell, we offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Champaign County Crime Stoppers has been working to keep our neighborhoods safe since 1986, but we've never done it alone. We rely on the generous support of those that recognize Crime Stoppers as an investment in a safer community for our friends, our family, and our collective future. Your generous support directly funds cash rewards for anonymous tips that lead to arrests. Join us by making a tax-deductible donation today that leads to a brighter, safer tomorrow. Donate now at ChampaignCountyCrimeStoppers.org.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose because you do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow in Champaign-Urbana today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Florida, Champaign-Urbana. It's Saturday. Nice couple of 2 or 3 days still ahead with regard to temperatures for late January, beginning part of February. And of all things, a significant rain system coming up our way for the end part of the week, beginning tomorrow afternoon. Keep an eye on streams and rivers that have to an inch worth of rain expected, and they are certainly iced over. They'll be breaking up and are doing just that in the mild air. And so some lowland ag areas may be subject to some ponding and local flooding. And we are into a dynamic weather pattern the second half of next week and going forward from a winter weather standpoint. Sunny, breezy mild for the day today, up around 45. Mostly clear, colder tonight, diminishing wind down to 27. Tomorrow, sun in the morning, increasing clouds for the afternoon as rain breaks out, the high at 46. Rainy tomorrow night, low down to 42. And cloudy, turning cooler for the day on Friday. Rain in the morning, some drizzle in the afternoon. North of Champaign, there may be a little wet snow before ending at evening time. Morning high in the 40s and then falling temperatures. 42 and a partly cloudy, dry Saturday. 54 on Sunday, and a cool-off slated for next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm Beatrice, Greg Soldier.
Tim, talk to me about Gale Forex Trucking. Any news?
A couple of new drivers on board that joined the team, and I think I may have one open spot left, maybe two. And we can always buy more trucks if they're good drivers. But it's been a challenge, but everybody has stayed safe, and I appreciate that. We've got a great group of guys that know that they have to safely service the customers, and they're doing that.
Describe the kind of driver you would love to hire.
Somebody that wants to work, knows the importance of being on time and servicing the customer, but also enjoys their quality home time with their family. It's difficult for truck drivers that are stuck out on the road for weeks at a time, so we just don't do that to them. We want them to have that quality time, rest their brain, rest their body, be with their family. That's real important to us.
How can people reach Tim Onstock?
They can get me at TIMO@GFTLOG.com.
We would like to invite you to the St. Joseph Ogden FFA auction February 1st at the St. Joseph Ogden High School. Dinner and silent auction begins at 5, followed by a live auction at 6. There are no tickets needed to attend, and anyone is welcome.
Items to be auctioned off include fire pits, solo stove, various Milwaukee tools, door-lock welding table, various silent auction baskets and gift certificates from local businesses.
You can learn more about our auction at our Facebook page, St. Joseph Ogden FFA.
All right, so we're about out of time. Back tomorrow, John Decker will be one of our big guys. He was in the White House press room yesterday. Got 2 questions that he got to ask with about 20 outlets that didn't get 1 question. John got 2, and Caroline Levitt said John knows him. That's kind of cool. So anyway, John's on tomorrow. Normal time, 7:35. More importantly, the John Decker theme will play tomorrow. Did you know, with Nathaniel's son, Dad, now he's a dad, but Nathaniel's son tomorrow, he's back. That'll be tomorrow as well. And earlier this morning, we did mention that all federal workers got an email. 2 million federal workers got an email last night from Donald Trump saying, hey, if you leave your job, I'll pay you for the next 8 months. Okay, so maybe they're making $8,000 a month in Washington, counting benefits. Maybe it's $6,000, $8,000 a month. So if you're thinking, okay, I can't stand Trump, I want to get out of this thing, I certainly don't want to go to the office, which is what they're required to do now. So he's given 8-month severance, which, could be $60,000, $80,000. Give you a chance to find something else. And there's plenty of private industry that are allowing you to stay at home still. So, yeah. The government wants people to quit because they don't think we need everybody we have. And so if they think 5-10% will take the offer, it saves $100 billion per year. And I know in a $6 trillion deal, it's a good start. You're going to try and grow out of this with the economy and then cut unnecessary. And I'm going to keep the clip. I don't have time to do any more. I'll keep the clip of 10 things Doge has cut already, including a study on how to do proper high fives. And why do ice cream cones leak? There's actually 1.4 million every year on why ice cream cones, and that is bad. I hate that. But anyway, there'll be people looking for work saying, well, what did you do? Well, I was in charge of the bubble wrap where you pop the bubbles and if it relieves stress, and it does. But yeah, that was my position. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get to that again before the end of the week. All right, we're done. Thank you so much for listening. The boys this afternoon. Lonte's back today. He'll be on with Derek Piper and Kyle Tosk, and then Derek's driving to Lincoln, Nebraska. The glamour of being a tremendous broadcaster and writer, Derek Piper gets to drive to Nebraska, presumably with Joey Wagner, so that's a long trip. Anyway, Illini play tomorrow night, 7:30. Thank you. I'm Stevie J. Thank you for listening. Have a great Wednesday.
Attention drivers. When it comes to your car, trust matters. That's why savvy drivers choose PDR Automotive for top-notch service and unbeatable quality. From routine maintenance to complex repairs, their team of expert technicians has the skill and experience to keep your vehicle running smoothly. At PDR Automotive, customer satisfaction is their priority, and they won't rest until your car is back on the road performing at its best. Visit PDR Automotive in Urbana today. Family-owned and operated for more than 50 years. They're what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hi, this is Troy Lands from Lands Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. With colder temperatures here, let's make sure your heating system is operating at its best. At Lands, you can join our comfort family and get exclusive savings and support to keep your heating system in tip-top shape this winter and all year round. Our plans offer tune-ups, discounts on repair, and even lifetime system enhancements. Plus, we back up our equipment with labor warranty when we install it. Find out more about our comfort family maintenance plans at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
It's great when hard work and experience are recognized. Hi, this is Ryan Heiser, President and CEO of Fisher National Bank. I am thrilled to share that Fisher National has been ranked 7th in the nation as a top lender in mortgage loans among banks with asset size of $300 million to $1 billion by our National Banking Association. This recognition is a testament to our lending team's dedication and expertise. After all, better banking experiences start with local people and local decision making. If you're in the market for a new home or considering refinancing your existing home, let our team at Fisher National Bank earn your business and trust. We offer competitive rates with low closing costs, and we locally service almost all of our loans. Come see us with all your home mortgage needs and experience the top-notch service that has earned us national recognition. Learn more at fishernational.com or stop by one of our branches today.
Fisher National Bank, exceptional communities, exceptional people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
Get the roof your home deserves by Roof Doctors, your residential roofing specialist that has always offered the best warranties in the industry, like our non-prorated 50-year warranty. Our customers love that we are family-owned and locally operated. We make our customer needs our top priority. With over 30 years experience and the best customer service, give Roof Doctors a call today for your free estimate at 328-7529. In your community and for your community, Roof Doctors.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Pia's
Pia's, 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign. Enjoy drink specials from Coors and Miller Lite, Twisted Tea, Captain Morgan, and Bullet Rye Bourbon. As we say, go Illini. Great drink specials, terrific pub food like the Slugger Burger, chicken fingers, loaded nachos, and fish on Fridays. Pia's will have a fan bus to watch the Illini. It leaves a half hour before tip-off as you head to the State Farm Center, get dropped off and picked up in the Front Circle Drive off 1st Street. Pia's, 1609 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign.
Our friendly sales team help you to find just the right appliance, just the right price.
I'm Paul Reekin, and you know my dad, Dennis, for the famous
Wow.
Yeah, that's the one. That
Wow
is a Central Illinois tradition, decades in the making. It's our award-winning staff that puts the
Wow
in Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. We have in-house service, in-house appliance installation, a knowledgeable sales staff that will make sure you get the guaranteed best deal on your next appliance purchase. Oh, and let's not forget, a jingle that's been around for decades. Just like the quality service we provide, I'll make sure it's here for decades to come. We're the store that makes you say,
Wow!
We stand behind what we sell, we offer so much more. Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.